Hi, welcome back. Alright, so as you're going through all your guitar practicing and playing and whatnot, you're eventually going to have to run across this problem of changing strings. Everyone's got to do it. With a string instrument, you have to change strings on a guitar because they eventually get rusted and oxidation and whatnot, and through the oils from your fingers and stuff like that, and they need change. Roughly, if you play regularly, every 3 months or so, 3 to 4 months. But if you don't play as much, you can change them a little bit later. But you basically can tell when they're all like oxidated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to change the strings on a guitar and go through that. And I've already started, but I will show you what I've done. Alright, so you're looking at your guitar, and I'm guessing you have an acoustic. If you have an electric, it's a little bit different, but I'll show you through an acoustic way. You have all your strings on here, and you know how when you tune it, like you're tuning to make sure it's in tune, go the opposite. Detune the entire thing. Take all the strings off. That's basically what your first thing. So take the guitar and just take all the strings, do the thing, and take them all off. Get them out of this thing, unwind them around there to where they're all just kind of hanging loose. And then you're going to have one of these little boogers right here that go in right there, like that. And you push them in. You're going to have to get those out. And there's a tool that they make at guitar shops that can do that. I honestly just took a pair of wire cutters, kind of a thing, and just kind of put it in there and just popped it out. Or if you can do it with your fingers, you can do it with your fingers. I find it easier to do it that way. That's what I do. And so now that you have that, you're saying, okay, what do I do next? Well, you take your strings that you bought. I'm guessing you went to some guitar store and bought strings. And so, let's just open them up and see what we got. Hopefully they're strings. Alright. So here they all are. And they have a code right here to tell you which one's which. So, the low E one is the brass colored one. So I'm guessing that's the brass one. That's this one. So we'll start with that one. So you unwind it and get it like that. There's your first string. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it in here. You're going to put it in the, where the normal would go, on this side, the low E one. You put it in there, and then you kind of just put this thing in. This thing has a little inlet right there. It has a little, this is the circle thing. It kind of goes in like that, and that's to put where the string goes. So you put that in there, and you push down a little bit, and then you kind of just work it. You can also, if you want, just take like something and push down a little harder to make it be really tight in there, because that's going to stay there. We don't want that to pop out, or things will fly, and it's never fun. Alright, and so, get it pulled up, make it real nice and tight. Come over here, and you put it through the loop in here. So, I'll put it in here, where it's in there. Now, you're thinking, in the beginning, what you would think is like, oh, well, we just take it and pull it as tight as we can, right? Wrong. We wanted to have a little leeway, roughly maybe the size of your hand, maybe like that much, maybe 4 inches or so, or something like that. And we want to keep it about there. And then we fold it over so that it doesn't come out. And the reason why you don't pull it all the way tight is because you have to spin it to make it stay. It's not going to stay just being that long. You have to spin it and make it wind around. And so if you have it all the way like completely tight, it can't wind anywhere. Therefore, the string won't stay, and you'll end up wasting a string. So now that you have it all bent like that, we take it and we start tuning. Just start doing this like you would normally if you're tuning up an instrument. Just do it many times. And to keep it steady, I would take your finger and pull it like that. Keep it tight so that it doesn't, you want it to be as tightly wound against this thing so that it doesn't when you start tuning, it doesn't mess up. So you want it to be very, very tight. And so you hold it like this and just start tuning it. And when it gets tight enough, you're going to want to set it in the nut right here that I told you. This white thing is the nut. There's little inlets in there, and you're going to want to do it in the very far one, the E-looking one, like the one that where it would go in. And then there's one over here too. You want them both to be generally in that. So keep going and tuning. And it is a very time consuming. And so now that you have the E string sort of on there, I'm not going to, by the way, just to save time, I'm not going to do every single string, show you how to do every one. It's the same thing. Do the same thing for all 6 strings. And so I'm just going to show you what you got to do. So you got it in there, you got the E looking one good. And so now what you got to do next is tune it up. So let's just say I have all the strings on this guitar all set and ready and done. And so now I'm like, all right, well now I need to tune the E string. Well, I would find a tuner if you don't have a very good ear that you can tell what the notes are. I'll get a tuner. But I don't have one on me, so I don't have a tuner. So I'm just going to use this guitar here. It's in tune, so I'll just use its E and copy it. So. And now it's in tune to E. But the thing is, strings like to go back to where they were. You're stretching your string out really far, so they're going to want to go back. So what I would do is I would stretch the string. I would stretch it a lot, like do it like this. Like, do this about 3 times. Go. Stretch it really far. Roughly about, if you have all the strings on here, stretch it 2 strings up. So make the E string touch the D string. So skip over the A and then touch that. About that much. And then test it. Tuning again. See, it went down a lot. You can do that a few times, just to be sure. Alright, so that's about in tune. So this string's in tune now. It's all set and ready and done. So now what you do is if you have a pair of wire cutters or scissors or some sharp instrument that can cut, you're going to want to, I mean, unless you really like this long thing, I preferably don't. This is really obnoxious. So what I'm going to do is you just cut it. You cut it like you cut hair. Just go up to the nut and just make sure you don't cut your string. That'd be unfortunate. But you cut that, done. You got 1 string. Well, I do, but you'll have all of them. 1 string done, ready to go, and play again. And that's how you change strings on a guitar.